Phase 3, we're back. We are beginning the longest phase thus far of the MCU. And Santino, I forgot, is this is where the majority of your favorites are, or no?
This is where the majority of my favorites are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive right into it. Civil War.
I like it. I'm sorry. I really do. I know you don't.
I do
But
not. I genuinely, this movie to me is fine, but it's all, I mean, this really is what Avengers 2 should have been, in my opinion, because this had a much more lasting impact, I feel, on the MCU than Age of Ultron did.
yeah.
But I don't know. I have a feeling if the Russos had stuck with their guns that they had when they made Winter Soldier and tried to make this more serious, I would have been happier because there's just some of the comedy they injected. Like, they toned Bucky down so bad in this movie. Like, he went from this badass assassin through the ages who changed history with some of his kills to now suddenly they weakened him.
I mean, they did it for the point of the story, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, to me,
And also, here, I'll get mine out, then I'll let you go on the goods so we don't get completely killed. I think the biggest thing that probably annoys me, in all honesty, is the fact that the movie starts with discussing the registration stuff, which I was fine with. But when you hit the midway point of the movie, they just completely drop the registration stuff, just goes away, and it becomes who wants to protect Bucky and who doesn't. And I'm like, I thought this was about registration. And if you go back in the beginning when Ross was playing the videos for the team that was sitting there saying, the world wants the Avengers on check now because of all these incidents. Yeah, like maybe one of them was caused by the Avengers. All the rest of them, the Avengers arrived to help. Sokovia was the only one caused by the Avengers. Like Thor showing up, what happened in New York, none of that was the Avengers' fault. Winter Soldier, that was not what happened in that movie was not the Avengers' fault. That was Hydra.
yeah, I mean,
So
as much as I
yeah,
like the movie, there are plot holes, like when they explain, as you said, really, the only one that was at fault was Ultron, and that was really it. I mean, you could argue,
well, and that was Tony's fault, and Tony should have been locked up for that.
yeah, true, but he wasn't. And I mean, okay, I get where you're coming from. I know why you don't like it, but I'll point out the stuff that I do like. I like the introduction of Black Panther. I like his
Yes,
art in the movie.
Black Panther and Spider-Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and the airport fight. All three of those elements are great in this movie.
Yeah, they are. I like how T'Challa's quest for revenge, he's so blinded by rage he can't see reason, which really that's a good element that they put in there. And I like how Peter Parker is so young, he can't really know how to get into this superhero world, and it shows
basically forced into fighting by Tony.
yeah, basically forced into fight. He was literally blackmailed by Tony. He's like, go.
Basically. There you go, everyone who says Iron Man's your hero. He blackmailed a kid into fighting for him.
Yeah, true. I mean, okay, yeah. Civil War has its faults. Zemo wasn't really that big of a threat. I mean, his plan was kind of like
His
he had
plan. That's the other problem I have with the movie. Zemo's plan was completely based around coincidences and guessing exactly, and just guessing in general that everyone was always going to make the wrong choices. That would just lead them to exactly what he wanted. It was completely like one of those scripts where they were like, we don't know what to do, so just always make the villain right, even though that's another thing that bothered me. This team has been together for years, and none of them talk about any of this. It's a giant fight where they even say it, they're all pulling their punches. So what was the point? What in reality, what stakes were really there when they weren't really fighting each other? It was just more like a bunch of kids pushing each other around, going, oh, we don't really want to hurt each other though.
I mean, in the airport fight, I mean, Tony said that how did he put it? That he would want to bring Cap in because it was either him or him with where he can still pull some strings and get off with like little punishment to the army, where the army will just take them out. I mean, like, I understand where they're coming from, and I think that Civil War has the good element of showing that the actions that they had consequences, even though really the only fault they had was Ultron. But I also like the fact that really this, I mean, yeah, the plot is like sometimes ridiculous, but look at it this way. In my view, this is how I see it. This caused the Avengers to break up. I mean, this event will have ramifications in Infinity War. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I think this should have been Avengers 2, not Age of Ultron.
yeah, but the thing is, they would have needed something to blame, right? I mean, like, they can't really. I mean, like, Ultron was the reason why they are fighting, right? I mean, like, if Ultron is not there, if Tony didn't create Ultron, there would be no reason for Steve.
Right, but they easily could have found a different way to do it. More like, oh, after all these incidences have happened on Earth, the United States Senate has voted, and we want you guys to work for us instead of on your own, so we can decide exactly when we need you to do and listen to us. The same governmental control that the government always issues. I mean, I get where they were coming from, but then they ruined it by saying everyone's mad over these incidents. But those incidences, only one was caused by the Avengers. So it was like you screwed up your reasoning when you screwed up what you were the direction you were looking at it from. You know what I mean? They could have gone, we want you guys to work for us because these incidences happened, not since you Avengers showed up, this has happened, and now you have to work for us.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, like, yeah, they could have found a better way, but in my opinion,
Like that. Shield has fallen. We need a new team of heroes to work for us because of all these, planet-wide things that have been going on. We need your help. Please work for us. But instead, it was we're forcing you to work for us because these incidences that happened that you guys caused, which they really didn't.
well, yeah, well, I, yeah, you make valid points there, Chad. I think,
Hmm.
yeah, I think, yeah, Civil War. I'm not gonna deny that I love the movie. I really do, but yeah,
Yeah, this is one where I'm like, there's some movies I look at, I just don't understand the appeal, but this is definitely one where anyone who does love it, and I know a lot of people do, this is one where I say not an issue because, hey, I mean, obviously anyone love whatever you want, but this is one where it's like it really is two sides of a coin where I'm on the side where I just don't like it for the reasons I listed, but everyone who does like it for the reasons they give, I can't really argue them because it is just personal preference, this story.
yeah. I mean, like, I personally like the story a lot. I really do. Yeah, there's some leaps of faith that you have to take with it, but yeah, I think it's, in my opinion, as I rewatched the Cap trilogy, Civil War is like second. Sorry, not even second. I think it's the my least favorite,
Hmm.
but I still like it a lot. Like, I really do. I really do. I think First Avengers second and number one is Winter Soldier for me.
Hmm.
But Civil War,
Oh, and also this also kind of I said it when we were talking about Iron Man 3, I think. I seriously, to me, this is more of an Iron Man movie than Captain America. I feel like Tony gets more character development in this than Cap does.
I kind of have to agree with you. I kind of have to agree with you there, dude. Yeah, that's the part I agree with you, because at the end of the fight, it's Tony's anger that causes the divide. It's like they
Well,
were.
and the whole movie, it's been building up with he's still coming down from the PTSD that started in Iron Man 3. He's dealing with the ramifications from the public, like the lady at the end of his uh, little thing that he put on for his new tech. And she blames him for her son getting killed. And it's like there's more development for him, I feel, than Cap got.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, Cap got a decent enough of development, and I like what he says. Like, you have to plant your feet and stand firm where you in what you believe in. And I think it's a
Hmm.
really good concept. Like Captain America's, he's still great in this movie. Like, I mean, even if you don't like it, you have to agree. Like, he's great in this movie. And stuff like that. I like Giant Man in this.
Yup.
I thought he.
Anytime Ant-Man shows up, I'm happy because Ant-Man's always awesome.
I agree there. And I think that yeah, there's some leaps of faith that you have to take the story, and which makes me hard to believe in it. And really, like looking back on it, it's probably not the best. But full disclosure, just to wrap it up, I do like where it goes, where it takes. I know you don't, and that's okay. It's just personal preference, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So this is one where I can like watch the airport fight, but aside from that, I don't usually return to this one.
I have,
Not really.
I have a question for you though. When at the end of the fight, at the end, the climax of the movie, when Captain America revealed that he didn't know I mean, like he knew that Bucky killed Tony's parents.
Hmm.
Uh, who were you for there? Were you for Tony or were you for Cap?
No, I was absolutely not for Tony. No, grow up, dude. I get the anger. I completely do. His parents were killed, and Steve didn't tell him about it. I get the anger, but at the same time, it's like, what is your goal here, Tony? If your goal was to stop Zemo, you just completely lost sight of it. I mean, these are supposed to, I get that heroes are not perfect, but at the same time, it's like, what about all the development he's had towards his character to becoming a better person? He can't just relax and be like, we know he did this. We need to arrest him now, because I can't see. I can see some kind of deal working out, but not where they were at. Not when they were at that base. I mean, maybe later, get a little more level-headed. It's like and especially this all comes right after he realized he was wrong about what led to the airport fight. So it's just him showing more leaping before thinking. So no, I'm absolutely not for Tony. No. I mean, the whole thing was wrong. That's what I'm saying. These people needed to communicate better with each other, and they could have still remained a team, but instead they just turned them all into basically idiots, I thought.
Mm. As much as I have to agree with you there, as much as I like Tony as a character, he was in the wrong in this one because Bucky was mind controlled.
Exactly.
He had no free will whatsoever. He didn't ask to he didn't want to kill Tony's parents. He was a victim of an organization that took his mind and basically warped it to their own thing. I mean, like he couldn't even at least see that. But I get the anger. I mean, like if you
I do too. But like I said, after everything he just went through, when he realized when he was at the raft, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when he found out everything about Zemo and framing Bucky. It's like, okay, calm down now, man. Don't freak out again and get irrational.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, overall, Civil War, if you like it, awesome. If you're like me and you don't, whatever. It's one, like I said, I don't return to that often, and I genuinely never really want to. The movie doesn't mean much to me.
It's fine. It's fine.
So, moving on to one that I actually love, and this is one of my favorites, and definitely one of the most underrated, Doctor Strange.
Okay, I agree with you here. I love Doctor Strange.
Love this movie.
Man, okay, you go first. You take the lead on this one.
Oh, I remember when they were first discussing the casting of Doctor Strange, and I remember they like threw out like the list of all the possible candidates, and as soon as I saw Benedict Cumberbatch's name, I was like, come on, pick him. That would be perfect. And then they announced that Benedict Cumberbatch was Doctor Strange. I'd never been happier in my life.
Dude, Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, that's the definitive.
It's funny though because I've always only known him with his British accent, so it was so weird with hearing him have an American accent though. I'm like, why couldn't you have just left him British?
Because Doctor Strange is American in the comics.
Well, I get that, but I mean, they've made plenty of other changes. Why can't they make that a change?
Doctor Strange is one of those. It's one of those movies I always have fun watching. I love Doctor Strange because I watched in 3D. First time I watched
it. You lucky. I wish I'd seen this one in 3D. I'm sure that just looked amazing with some of those visuals in this film.
I loved it. When he was tripping out, when the Asian ancient one just pushed him into all these other dimensions, I was like, wow. That's insane.
Yes, and there's another one, right? That's another thing right there. I remember before the movie came out when they were discussing the the race gender swap of the Ancient One.
Oh yeah.
At the time, I was kind of like, why not just stick with it? But now that I think about it, I mean, she's just called the Ancient One. She doesn't have to have a specified race or gender, in my opinion. And I thought Tilda Swinton, dude, she was amazing, I
Yeah,
thought.
this one. I loved the fight sequence at the beginning where she's fighting Kaisalias's men with the
Mm-hmm.
that was insane, dude. Like it, this okay, this is one of the films that you can tell the director put passion into what he was doing.
Oh, easily. Derrickson wanted to make this, and he did a great job.
Yeah,
And I mean, just all the way through, it was just like, yeah, a lot of people are just kind of like, oh, it's just the same thing as, Iron Man and all that. And it's like,
no, it's
kind
not.
of, but from a completely different perspective.
Yeah,
And just like the journey that he went through, I thought was almost much more difficult than what Tony went through in the first Iron Man. I mean, he lost everything when he got in that car wreck. He lost the use of his hands. He lost all his money trying to fix them. He's at his wit's end. I mean, he got his ass kicked in the streets and he had his watch stolen.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like it was
Mhm.
so it was so good, and I guess the only weak point would be Mads Mikkelsen was wasted completely.
Yes, he was, unfortunately. That was a real letdown. But I think it's because they wanted to focus on Strange and the Ancient One more, which I'm actually, well, yes, while Caecilius was a very weak villain, um yeah, I did like that they focused on the building of the relationship between Strange and the Ancient One, though. So I'm kind of fine with it because obviously they were building up to Dormammu, who better come back at some point, and I do hope he looks more like he did in the comics, though, instead of the giant floating CGI head. But even that scene was like, to me, that was humor done well,
Yeah, where
where he kept getting killed and coming back.
yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. I love the fact that in Doctor Strange, it doesn't end with a big, fight against an army. It ends with Doctor Strange.
It's an interdimensional bargain, basically.
Yeah, I know, and it ends with Doctor Strange using his intellect. Like he uses the time stone in one of the most amazing visually done sequences ever, where he reverses the entire effect of Caecilius' attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane, and I like the
That
fact.
was great.
I like the fact that Dormammu just basically gets irritated to stop the.
Yeah, I mean, he had no choice. Like Strange said, he's like, either give me what I want or you're stuck in this loop for eternity.
Yeah, that's insane.
What else? Okay, let's see. I thought, oh my gosh, her name just fell out of my head. His love interest.
Rachel McAdams as
Yes.
Chris.
Yeah, she was good. She didn't get as much screen time or presence as I would have liked.
Yeah.
But hopefully she comes back in the future. I'd like to see her again. And
She's returning for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
perfect. Probably one of the best scenes I definitely think is the fight when he finally gets his cape.
Oh, I mean the astral protection. The astral
Yep.
protection. Yeah, I love that one. It's so
Mhm.
well done. Like when I love how it affects his form. Like when he's being shocked by the defibrillator, he glows.
Oh, I'm talking the whole thing from when the fight starts, when he gets the cape, all the way through when he finally goes back and he's like become, Doctor Strange. Yeah, that whole fight, that whole astral projection fight in the hospital was awesome, I thought.
It's insane. I loved it.
Yes, this movie, I don't even know what to say almost because it's just, I love it from beginning to end.
I
I
love
love
this.
every minute of it. I mean, I think this one is like, I think this is in my top 5 now that I think about it.
The score of Doctor Strange is underrated. I love the score. It's
Mm-hmm.
mystical and like it just screams Doctor Strange.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm looking at my ratings real quick. Yep, Doctor Strange is my number 5 out of the whole MCU.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I love this movie. I love Benedict Cumberbatch as an actor. I mean, the guy just like commands a presence every time he's on screen. And making him the Sorcerer Supreme of the MCU is just genius. And he's truly one of those characters who makes a movie for me. So, yeah, I love this film. I don't even know what to say aside from just picking scenes out and saying, I love it, I love it, I love it.
It's really good. I love it also.
Definitely. So moving on to, oh boy, one I definitely do not like at all. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Okay,
Oh,
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I want to hear you first, and then I will.
God.
I will.
It's not funny. It's annoying.
The
I
humor is
hate the
forced
humor
for
in this
sure. The
movie. So
humor,
what?
the humor is really forced for sure.
It's so bad. Like I remember seeing it in theaters, and I would like just like I don't even really get what they were going for, but like when they hit the scene where Drax was like laughing over the word penis, I was like, who is this written for? 5-year-olds? That's not funny.
Okay,
And just I didn't like Ego as a villain very much. I like Kurt Russell, but I didn't like Ego. I thought his plan was one of the most bland and forgettable plans I've ever seen. Oh, give me your power so I can take over the galaxy. That's it? I'm like that's what Kurt Russell was wasted on in the MCU? I was like, geez, I mean, yeah, I guess the costume looked cool, and that one shot of them flying towards the planet and seeing his face on it was kind of cool, but I mean, no. Really, the only thing I genuinely enjoyed about this film was Mantis. I didn't really like that much in this movie, and I don't ever want to return to it.
okay, it's like this. I I agree. The humor in this movie was forced, especially like the it was really like cringy to the point like I
Well,
have
originally Drax's humor worked because like he just didn't get certain like phrases like oh in the first one they're like oh yeah say something and it'll go over his head. Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
yeah
They took him from like being that type of humor character to just being an idiot. Like he was just stupid in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
yeah he was like I have famously huge turns. I was like dude like you're really forcing this. I don't know what I don't know what Gunn was thinking when he was making this movie because okay there are good concepts again like Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World. There are good concepts but really really bad execution. I
Yeah.
like the concept of Peter meeting his dad and having that relationship only for it to be crushed. I'm
But it
not.
was but it was pointless. They show at the end of the first movie that he's half human, half something that nobody knows what he is. And it's like, okay, cool, we'll find out some more about that. And then we get to this film and we find out he's like, half god basically, and then they just strip him of his powers. I was like, well, what was the point?
I mean, like, I guess it was the point of okay for me. Okay, this is just personal thing. This is a personal thing with me.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he chose to be human instead of being a god because that's where his real family was. You know.
Yeah, but what's his face? Ego was just gonna kill him when he took the power out of him anyways. So he was gonna lose the powers regardless, I thought.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, that's true. I okay. Look, the concept of him meeting his dad, it's a personal thing with me, and him finding out that his parent was actually abusive. It's a personal thing with me that I really find like it's hard hitting. I can
Hmm.
understand why it's not really a good concept to most, or not to like the people who didn't like this movie that much. Because I've met people who have said that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is not really their thing because it was such a step down from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And I agree. I wholeheartedly agree that it's not as good as the first one. But at the same time, there's things I can't deny that there are things I like about it. I like the fact I like that action scene with Yondu and Rocket where she's basically like massacring all these
Okay,
aliens.
that I'll give you that. That scene was cool.
Yeah, and I
But it
like
wasn't enough to save the movie for me.
I like I like the visuals. The visuals are really
Yup. Visuals are good, definitely.
the color.
Okay, now I just did remember another thing I really enjoyed about this movie because it's a character who I think is who really hasn't gotten to do much, and I hope she does in either Thor: Love and Pain or whatever it's called, or Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I want more of Nebula, and I was glad we started to get more of her in this movie.
I love Nebula in this movie. Nebula is the victim of abuse.
Definitely. And
that's
I
what I
want them to build on it more because I wanted more of her in Endgame. So that's why I was so happy that she survived Infinity War. We just didn't we got more of her in Endgame, but still not enough to completely please me. So hopefully I want to see her backstory. Like, who is she? Where did she come from?
Yeah, I mean, like we see Gamora in Infinity War, but we never really know who Nebula is. I like in this movie that she okay. I have read because I have taken like a psychology course
Hmm.
in college, not in college, in high school because it was a requirement. I read that people who have suffered from abuse aim their anger to people who who have not received it. So like Gamora was someone who was favored by Thanos, so she aims anger to her, and I love that. I honestly love that line where she says,
I do love that scene when they were fighting and Gamora stopped and she was just like, like, what do you want from me? And she's like, I just wanted a sister or something.
"Yeah, yeah,
I was like, that was really good because you could see that anger already affecting her in the first Guardians. So yeah, seeing more of Nebula in this film, just to me, I thought was great because that character really intrigues me and interests me.
yes, exactly." And I like the fact that at the end of the movie, Gamora gets to explain herself to like, hey, I know you're angry at me, but I was also just trying to survive Thanos.
Mhm.
I didn't like him either. And I'm sorry that I hurt you like that. So it's
I enjoyed Nebula, Mantis, and Yondu. All side characters more than the main crew.
I like, yeah, okay. So like I said, this movie to me, it's personal why I like it because
Hmm.
it's testament to abuse and what happens. Like Peter is being abused by his dad in a way of like him wanting nothing more than to just get the powers. Nebula is shown to have abuse towards his to her dad and just aims anger at her sister because she has no one else to aim it to. So it's like
Hmm.
it's stuff like that that makes it like, okay, I like this movie, but why I get why you don't like it because the humor
Well,
really.
it's funny because now that you bring that up, I never really, because it's been so long since I watched it, I had never really thought of it as deep as you just worded it. And as much as I don't like this film, I almost want to go back and now try and watch it from that perspective and see if maybe I have a new appreciation for some of it.
I mean,
But
like,
it's just like I said, as good as all of that is, I don't really like what's going on with the main rest of the cast in this film. I don't really care. I personally don't really care about the story of the main crew. Like, probably I think the most annoying thing in this movie, and I don't care what hate I'm gonna get from this, I don't like Baby Groot. It was just a toy. It was just a marketing ploy. That's all it was. Where they're all go out and buy Baby Groot toys. Like,
yeah,
come on.
I agree. Like the baby group was just like it was just used.
That that intro scene. I mean, people complain in the end of the first one. Oh, it was a giant dance off that beat the villain. No, it wasn't. But this movie starts out with a dance off.
Yeah, true. Because baby. Okay, that's what I'll agree on. Baby Groot was meant to sell toys, and yes, I also hate there's humor I don't like the stupid taser face joke. Like, okay, it was fine once, but like it's being overused, and the gold people were so annoying.
Yes.
Yes, but okay, that like I said, that's why I think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is absolutely superior in every way. But I can't deny that there are concepts, for me at least, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that I can personally relate to and like. So, Chad, if you ever want to watch GOT G2 again, try looking at it from that perspective because I think what James Gunn was trying to do was show a story of how a family, since the Guardians are family, so try to get through abuse, like how Peter tries to get abuse, how Nebula tries to get through abuse. That I think that's what Gunn was going for. But
Yeah, like I said, maybe I'll give this one another watch at some point in the future and watch it from that perspective and see if anything changes. It might not. Who knows? But I think it's but I'm also one of those people where it's like if I don't like the humor in a movie, it almost ruins the whole thing for me because I can't stand it because the humor just bogs down the rest of the film.
okay, yeah. True. I'm not gonna
So
argue that the humor is distracting, and I had myself rolling my eyes like so many times when they would make like a poop joke or something like that. So yeah,
yeah, that was more Disney interference, I think. But so hopefully they'll leave him alone when he does Guardians 3 to give some of these characters their proper outs at the end of the trilogy, or see what comes next. But we'll see. We'll see when Gun's all done and he starts writing it. We'll see where they go.
yeah, I hope so.
So moving on to the next film of 2017. This is another one of my favorites of the MCU, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I love Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So
I
do
really,
I. I love this film. It is so much. I'd have to like. I still, for anyone who knows me, I honestly really like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I like both of them. But I will say, I think Spider-Man: Homecoming is probably the most fun Spider-Man movie ever made, live action.
it really is. Like it's my second favorite live action Spider-Man. First one is Far From Home, and we'll get to that at the very end of our Phase 3
Hmm.
retrospective. But what I like about Far From Home, oh sorry, Homecoming. Sorry, I got
You're
mixed up.
good.
What I liked about Homecoming a lot was the fact that it's a very ground level Spider-Man movie.
Yes, and it's also cool because now with Spider-Man being in the MCU, we that opened the door to a new genre of films for the MCU because up till now it's been like all adults. Spider-Man: Homecoming is the first one that drops down to that high school level that
Yeah.
we're watching something different. It's not adults running around. It's a kid trying to balance Spider-Man, his love life, his friends, all of it. And I
Yeah.
thought they did a genuinely good job with this film.
I really I really love this film. Like there's so many moments that I like. Okay, one of my favorites that's underrated is like when Peter and Ned go to the party of Flash or
Mhm.
of the interest of what's her name? Liz.
Liz.
Yeah.
Liz.
And then Flash teases him like, "Come on, you don't know Spider-Man. You don't know who he is." And then Peter is changing into Spider-Man. He's like, he's replying what he's gonna say, and like, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man. You know, do you know that I know Peter Parker?" And he's like, he's about to do it, and then he sees like an explosion, and he sees about like something's wrong.
And he knows he has to go. He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
I
That's
did too, because that was doing more of he's trying to balance his life and he can't because he knows he has responsibilities as Spider-Man.
yeah, exactly. And I think everyone like loves the scene. I love that scene where he lifts the rubble at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep, when
But
he gets that like mental internal second wind and he just gets out and he's like, I have to stop. Which let's jump on that. Vulture. I thought Vulture was a great villain, a great
Vulture
addition
is
to the MCU.
great. Vulture is one of the most reliable villains in the MCU ever because he's the working man. He's
Yes, exactly. He's a working man who gets a contract. He spends all this money to start the cleanup of New York after the attack in 2012, just to have Stark take it all away from him.
yeah, I
And
agree.
then boom, now he's down on his luck, and they've got some of the Chitauri tech, and they just start building their empire, their little criminal empire.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the fact that the element of man that took me by surprise. Like Vulture being Liz's dad, that just blew me
Yes, that
away.
was cool because nobody saw that coming. No, nobody could have seen that coming.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, like that is something that like I will like that like the shock I got like at first when he first appeared, I thought, oh my god, he kidnapped her.
Well,
And I
and then that scene in the car when he basically realizes who Peter is, that was really well done, I
yeah, and then
thought.
he has his Glock like he hides behind the chair and it's like, don't mess with me because I'll kill you and everyone you know you love. Like, wow, dude, like he's like he can be the kind father figure and then it's like, okay, I have to give him the dad talk. And the minute and then the minute like she goes out, she's like he like hardens up and says, so does she know? Does she know what
Mm-hmm.
you are? Like, wow, dude, like that's insane.
Yep. So I think originally before this came out, I think one of the things that I don't want to say it holds it back, but I know this. I don't think it gets hate from either you or me, but I know it gets hate from a lot of people out there. Basically, Peter being like Tony's sidekick almost.
It never
Uh,
bothered me really because okay, I know a lot of people say that like, oh my god, this version of Spider-Man is not like Tobey's or Andrew's. He's Iron Man Jr. He's not a Spider-Man. Like, no, he's not. He's the same Spider-Man. Just he's younger, and yeah, like Tony was barely in Homecoming.
he really was. I mean, they did the marketing so badly, I thought, where like in all the trailers, they made it seem like he was gonna be in the movie almost the entire time also. And then when you watch it, he's in what? 3 scenes, 4 scenes?
Yeah, he's like 3 scenes in the movie. Like it's only look, someone clocked in the how long Stark is actually in Homecoming. He's in it for 5 minutes.
Oh wow. Yeah, he's at the beginning. Oh, he's at the beginning when I thought that was really cool too. When we saw Civil War from Peter's point of view when he was recording himself.
Vlogging, yeah, that was cool.
I thought that was really cool. He's in that part when he drops him off. Then he's on the phone with him. Then he takes the suit away, and then he gives it back. And I
Yeah,
mean, that's it. That's all he's in the movie.
yeah.
Big deal. We still saw Peter lose his suit that he got in Civil War, and we saw he didn't give up. He didn't just throw everything away and say forget it. He put on his old ratty suit, and he still went out and saved the day in it. I thought that was great for his character.
People say that he's Iron Man Jr. because he just gets the Star Tech from Spider-Man, and like he fought the Vulture in his homemade suit.
Yup. He didn't use the tech like he did in Far From Home to make a suit, or he didn't use the Civil War suit. He used his old suit, which was just what, sweatpants and a sweatshirt and a little mask he made.
Yeah, that's it.
He still made his own webbing.
Yeah, and that's his homemade. But I don't understand the problem. Like, I really don't. I really don't get why Peter is like the people who say he's Iron Boy Jr. or something like that.
No.
The criticisms they make like, oh, he got all the tech from Stark. Like, yeah, and then Stark took it away in Homecoming at the end of at the climax of the movie. He took it away, and in Far From Home, Tony's dead. So what Iron Boy Jr. are you talking about? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, what? He grieves. We'll get to Far From Home later, but yeah, in Far From Home, it's just a quick. He grieves and then he moves on. I mean, yeah, we'll get more into that when we hit Far From Home, but no, I disagree with the Iron Boy Jr. in this movie. I really do. I can see where people are coming from, but I disagree.
Yeah, same. I don't understand I don't understand why that's a criticism because Spider-Man is still Spider-Man. Like they showed there are scenes in the movie which show that he is still Spider-Man. I don't understand the problem really.
Yeah, I don't either. But I do. Now that now that I think about it, I think the only issue I do have with the movie, and this is another one that I know is divisive. Okay, I'll just say it quick. I don't have a problem with Flash. We didn't really have a Flash in the Raimi universe. The best Flash is still the one we had in The Amazing Spider-Man, but I was fine with the Flash we got in this movie.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, like, okay, so I get it.
He gets better in Far From Home, but I was fine with him being the way he was because they don't really want to focus on Flash, which is perfectly fine. We don't need to focus on him.
I mean, like I'm not gonna. I don't. I'm not gonna insult people. I hope not. At least people who like the Raimi movies and the comic books say that Flash is supposed to be this jock that bullies Peter, and I was like, yeah, I get that, but it wouldn't make sense really in this universe for Flash to be the jock.
We've seen it that way so many times. Let's do something different.
I like Flash as a jock for sure. Like, okay, yeah, that's okay. I mean, like, yeah, sure. But I like seeing Flash also the nerd who just acts like he's cooler than everyone else. You know, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I don't mind it, but you know, I don't understand what's the point really of the criticism with Flash. I don't really.
Yeah, that's another one. I think that's just a personal preference, and this is another one that I know is a personal preference, and this. I don't know. This is another one that seems divisive. I was not a fan of MJ.
MJ, okay, yeah, I guess I can see why, because she wasn't the love interest in this movie. She wasn't.
Well, it's not even because she wasn't the love interest. It's because I don't like Zendaya's performance um as the character she's been written to play in the MCU. I don't enjoy her character at all. Like I think I get what they were going for. I don't think it was executed well.
I still profess that the best love interest was always Gwen Stacy in the Matrix.
Oh, easily. That's almost not even up for debate. That was the best chemistry of the Spider-Man live action movies so far.
Yeah, and I almost feel like I really I really prefer Gwen Stacy as a love interest to Spider-Man and not really MJ. I mean, like I get it, in MJ and Peter Parker in the comics, that's like an iconic couple, like one of the iconic couples. But I always preferred Gwen Stacy as a love interest for Peter. I'm not sure, but that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, Zendaya, no, wasn't really a fan. So maybe she'll get better in Far From Home. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it for Homecoming.
Oh wait,
overall, really good.
one more before we go for Homecoming. Despite not me liking Zendaya that much, also, I do like the chemistry between Peter and Ned. I thought it was really well done.
Yes, Ned was. I honestly was afraid I was gonna hate Ned, but I wound up really enjoying him.
Yeah, same.
And Aunt May. Aunt May was really good too, I thought.
Aunt May was really good, yeah.
Marissa Tomei looked absolutely gorgeous, I thought.
Well, she was before my time, but yes, okay.
Oh, hey, she still looked good in Homecoming.
Yeah, she still looked good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, in all honesty, this is gonna be like one of those things. Like you're gonna laugh so hard. In Civil War, just backtracking with Civil War, when Peter entered and Tony was talking to Aunt May, she looked so young. I was like, is that Mary Jane? I really thought. But I like, oh my God, it's Aunt May. Wow, she looks young.
No kidding. Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Okay, another film that we're divisive on, but let's just go anyway.
I hate Thor Ragnarok.
I know you do.
I hate this movie. It's not funny at all. I hate this kind of humor. I mean, I honestly think James worded it perfectly. If this was an Adam Sandler movie, people would hate it. So I don't understand why people like Ragnarok. I really don't. I mean, the humor is just, I hate it. I think it's terrible. It's annoying. Visually, the film looks good, sure, but I don't like the story either.
You don't like the story? Okay, well.
No. I mean, basically, it's another one that just gets undone and put back to the status quo anyways later, so. Nope. So I'll let you praise it, but overall, I'll just give my quick. No, I don't like it. I don't like what they did with Hulk. I don't like that they basically just redid everything with Loki again. I thought what they did with Odin was very pointless. Just a cheap, quick way to get rid of him after building up to the mystery of what happened to him at the end of Dark World. Yeah, no, don't like this movie.
I can understand that. I mean, like people. Like right now, but like I remember when it came out in November, people were praising it, like one of the best horror movies ever. And eventually, it dwindled down to be like, it's just okay. Like okay, so when I watched it, I really liked it. I really, really did. And I was like, I still, as I rewatched it, I was like, I really like it, but I can understand. I completely understand where you're coming from. They made Hulk a joke. They really did.
Again, they ruined him worse than they've already ruined him.
Right? They made Hulk a joke. I'm gonna be real with you. I like the fight between Thor and Hulk in the middle of the movie.
That was fine.
Yeah, I like the reinvention of Thor. He becomes a different guy. I like the fact that it shows that he doesn't need the hammer, although.
Just to undo it in the next movie.
Infinity War, yeah.
They just go, oh wait, yes he does. So now we're just gonna give him a giant axe.
Yeah, that was really weird. I don't like Hela.
Nope. I like how she looked, but aside from the scene where she fought all the Valkyrie, I definitely don't think they ever really showed off like how powerful she was.
Yeah, she just basically threw knives and all that. I don't like her. It's a waste of Kate Blanchett. I
Hmm.
like Valkyrie. I thought Valkyrie was cool.
Valkyrie was fine, I guess.
Yeah,
I like Tessa Thompson, but I liked her better in the Creed movies.
yeah, because she's also in the Creed movies. And okay, wow. As I rewatch, I'm trying to find things I actually like about this movie. Oh my god! No! Oh wow!
I mean, there's just nothing to it, in my opinion. I mean, it's another one where I don't understand the appeal. I don't get it. What's so great and funny about it? It's annoying humor is what it is. It's eye rolling. Far originally I thought the humor in like Guardians 2 wasn't that good. I'd honestly rather watch Guardians 2 before I ever watch this again.
Yeah. Okay, so well, I'm actually struggling to find things I like. I like, man, wow. As I, oh,
That's what I always mean. I'm like, I don't get what people like about this film. Because 9 times out of 10, I mean, I don't know what you'll have, but 9 times out of 10, it's just, oh, it looked cool and it was funny. It's like,
I like,
well, I didn't find it funny. The visuals were fine. No, not fine. The
fun.
visuals were good.
I had fun watching this movie. I really did. But I like the Led Zeppelin in it. That was pretty kick-ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, wait, wow, yeah. Like what I like was the reinvention of Thor because like it shows that he didn't need the hammer. But then again, they gave him an axe in Infinity War, so that kind of undoes it, right? Doesn't it?
Right. I thought the losing of his eye was kind of cool because it evolved his character, and then in Infinity War, they just give him a new one.
Hey, yeah. Wow.
Which I don't really know what to point the finger at of that's almost one of those issues which we'll get to when we get to Infinity War, but it's almost like whose fault was that? Was that Feige saying we need to get Thor back to the Thor we know? Was that the Russos just being like, we don't like what Taika did with the character, so we're changing him back? It's almost one of those mysteries like who really is to blame for that?
Yeah, but I like the concept of Asgard being destroyed and really nothing.
Well, to me, another problem I'll always have with it is I remember when the original poster came out, and it was that like dark fire stone that said Ragnarok, and then the next time something came out, they completely changed it to like that like 80s style, and I'm like, what happened here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you can tell this and this was
This went
really.
through big changes in the background.
Yeah. Exactly. So wow, man. As as I as I reminisce, it's really kind of hard for me to like it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a guilty pleasure, you don't. I mean, you obviously you don't have to answer like give me an absolute reason. If you just enjoy it because it's just like, oh, hey, it's cool seeing some of the visuals or something. I mean, I've got guilty pleasures, but yeah. So for me, like I said, I don't care for this film at all. I don't really ever want to watch it again.
Okay, I'm gonna be with you. I did enjoy it a couple times, but like as I reminisce, it's kind of hard for me to find anything I do like. I like being anything I do like. I might have to rewatch it and maybe update my list and like put Ragnarok somewhere else other than my eighth.
Oh wow, I had. Do you know where it is on my list?
Yeah, I saw. I'm looking at it now. It's second to the last. Last.
Second to last, only topped by Guardians 2.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So I think Chad, we're good with this one. Let's just move on.
I was gonna say I'd rather move on to the next one anyways because this is another one for to me Black Panther, the first film of 2018. This one falls right like smack dab in the middle of the MCU for me.
Okay. So you go first, and I will. I will.
So I guess after not liking Guardians 2 and Ragnarok in 2017, Black Panther definitely felt like a breath of fresh air the first time I saw it. I'm like, there's light humor in it, which is fine enough to, not make it. It's not as serious as Winter Soldier, but it still held enough seriousness in it that it wasn't annoying like Guardians or Ragnarok were. So I definitely loved it the first time I saw it for that. I liked seeing T'Challa again. The building of the world of Wakanda I thought was really cool. But this one just like to me, it's almost the more times I watch it, the less I enjoy it
Hmm.
because it just I don't know what it is. I don't I feel like I see a new problem with it every time I watch it where I'm like, what? Like I'm sorry, the Claw was basically pointless in this film
Well, it was not.
because the
Yeah.
way Killmonger showed who he was by showing his tattoo, why didn't he just do that to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did he have to go through the whole charade of everything? All he had to do was find out how to get to Wakanda, and bam, he would have been fine. He didn't
Okay.
need to do everything with Claw.
Okay. So, yes, it was pointless. The only thing.
Another time where they just killed off Andy Serkis. Good
I mean,
job, Disney. You just don't like the guy.
oh yeah, Snoke. I completely forgot about Last Jedi, but and I don't want to remember. I didn't want. Let's not talk about that. All right. I completely forgot about Last Jedi. So, um, okay, yeah. So with Black Panther, I like the movie, I do, but it's like with you, it's middle ground. I don't understand. I think it got overhyped to the point where it was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. It's like
Oh,
that, like you nominate that, but you can't nominate Logan or The
exactly.
Dark
That
Knight.
was definitely one where it's like, if Logan wasn't nominated, why was this? Because
Yeah,
Logan was far better than this.
I mean, like Claw was basically there, as I've said to friends, he was basically there to sponsor the new Lexus. That's
Yeah.
basically what he was there for.
hmm
And okay, I'll be real. I like Killmonger. He's a very good villain. I think we can agree on that, or do you not?
Um, I like I like the idea of him. Some of the execution, I'm not too. I don't know. I'm divisive on him because I mean I definitely disagree with the people who say he's like the best MCU villain because I've
He's
seen people
not.
say
He's not.
that.
He's not.
But at the same time, I'd put him up there. I wouldn't put him as one of the best, but I won't say he's one of the worst either.
He's not the worst. But like again, Black Panther's a very middle ground movie. Like I like the world building of Wakanda. I like their culture. I like the traditions they have, like for a new king. I like
hmm
I like the Jabari. I thought that was really cool. Like there's this like tribe that doesn't accept the technology of Wakanda.
He was he was actually my favorite character in the movie,
Yeah, Winston Duke. Yeah, Winston Duke. Like this is his first like feature film before. I know he appeared in Us after, but I liked him.
which I love.
I like Okoye. I thought Okoye
Yep,
was
she's a
solid.
good character, definitely.
I thought, okay, people are gonna shoot me for this. They really are gonna shoot me. I don't like Shuri all that much.
Nope, I don't either. She's annoying.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she's everyone overhyped Shuri, and I'm like, yeah, Shuri's cool, but she, she
She's
had
cool,
forced,
but she's just become Marvel's equivalent of Q from James Bond. I mean,
she
that's
had
basically what they reduced her to.
she had forced jokes like the what are those? I was like, oh my god, why are you putting that in?
Oh, the Crocs.
Yeah,
That was terrible.
yeah, I don't like Shuri. I think I think Nakia is underrated. I like
Yep,
Nakia.
definitely. I'll agree with you on that one.
Chala as a character,
I
uh,
preferred the way he was in Civil War.
yes, he had a better arc in Civil War. In this one, he was he's doing the typical king tries to be better, and yeah, I like seeing him, but
And the weird thing though is how they almost changed the Black Panther stuff with the flower. So they said that only the king can use that, correct?
yeah,
Then why did he already have the powers in Civil War? Because
right,
his father was still alive.
right,
Like, did they just? But they said once you take the flower, like you don't need it again or something.
yeah,
So why would they have brought it with them if they didn't think something was going to happen? See,
right,
that's the weird part where I'm like, you set him up as one thing, but then you completely changed him. So it's like now I don't understand what's canon with the character.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the flower was like so weird. Like I don't understand like what the point of that was. I like the astral plane thing. That was pretty cool.
That I'll give you that one. That visually that looked great.
Yeah, I know, right? That was awesome. That part
Hmm.
where like like he's
That's what I almost wish they built on more though, like more of the ancestor stuff.
yeah. Yeah, the ancestor stuff was solid. I really like that. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's why it's like I'm almost struggling because it's like like I said, to me, this movie just is it's just very middle ground. I don't really particularly love anything about it, but I also really don't have major issues with it either. I
Yeah,
mean, Wakanda looked cool. Some of the issues were cool, but I mean, I don't know. This is just one like I almost don't even really think about this movie that often
it's
anymore.
very
So it's
much
like,
a mixed bag for me. Like people were like saying, "Oh my God, Black Panther is like one of the best Marvel movies ever." It's like, when I first watched it, I was like, yeah, yeah,
oh,
really,
when I first watched it, I loved it. Like I said, the more I've watched it, the more I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. It's
yeah. It
okay.
just
It's
becomes
okay.
okay. It just becomes okay. It's like, yeah, really, it's like I don't really.
Exactly. So it's like if they really want to impress me with Black Panther, then in the sequel, have Namor show up and go to war. Boom, there we go. Then you'll really hook me in for the next one.
That's what I'm here for. I will also wait for that.
Yep. So I don't so I think we're gonna cut off phase 3 here. Next week we're gonna do part 2, starting with my favorite of the MCU,
Oh,
Infinity War.
yes, Infinity War, and then
But yeah, so overall, let's the first half of phase 3. What's your like overall thoughts of the first half of phase 3?
very much for me at least a mixed bag. I
Mm-hmm.
this is really great because I can at least reminisce and maybe like convince you on some stuff. Like I'm glad that
Yeah, you definitely got me thinking about Guardians 2 in a new way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm glad we agree on some stuff like Homecoming and Doctor Strange. You got me thinking of Thor Ragnarok in a different way. I was like, holy shit, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, if you love it, you love it.
Yeah,
Anyone out there who enjoys film, enjoy what you enjoy. That's how I always say it. But if you're gonna tell me something's the best and I question why, you better be able to defend yourself because
yeah.
it's funny. I'll just tell a quick little story. This
Yo,
was actually a couple of years ago. Some guy told me online that he loved Iron Man 3, and he said it was his favorite of the first three. So I just asked him, "How come?" And he's like, "Because I do." I'm like, "Well, can you specifically maybe tell me why? Like, what did you like his arc, the visuals, the story, what?" And he's like, "I don't have to explain myself to you." And I'm like, "We're in
that,
a film group on Facebook. It's a simple question of discussion." And he wound up blocking me. I was
uh,
like, all I asked was why you liked Iron Man 3 the best. I didn't call him any names. I didn't insult
yeah,
his
that's weird.
intelligence. I didn't tell him he was wrong. I just simply was like, please explain it to me. Maybe you'll be able to tell me. I mean, that's why I enjoy doing these because I'm like you with Guardians 2, you made me think about it in a new way that I hadn't thought about it. So I was like, maybe this guy can give me some reasons why Iron Man 3 is why it's as good as he thinks it is. But instead, he just got mad that I asked him why and blocked me. And I'm like, okay, I guess you don't really love the movie that much or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, so for me, phase 3, it definitely feels very different than phase 1 and 2.
yeah.
And this is also when we jumped to 2017 was the first year when we jumped onto 3 movies a year. This is when the comedy really started ramping up in the films. And yeah, it just like feels like the days of phase 1 and phase 2 are
Behind us.
those days of the way they made those films are behind us now, and we're in the way the MCU just makes films now.
Yeah. So yeah,
So go ahead.
so yeah. As I reminisce and wrap up the first half of phase three, very much a mixed bag, but there are movies that I do enjoy. I do. But there are also movies that I think about right now, like with Ragnarok. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hopefully, in the second half of phase 2, we see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm looking over the second half of phase 3, and
Oh, sorry, phase 3. My bad. I said phase
oh,
2.
I'm looking over the second half, and this might come as a shock to you because you know how I feel about one of the movies. I'll say that in the second half of phase 3, there's none that I don't like. There's
No.
there's there's one in particular that you and I have discussed to no end multiple times.
Oh
You know
my.
my stance on it. I think it's overhyped, but I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't think it's the amazing thing that everyone else does.
Oh, we'll get into that next
And
week.
then there's one that I know the majority of people hate, and I don't hate this one.
Oh yeah, me also. That's the one I also don't hate.
Yep. So we'll dive into those next week, guys. Thank you for tuning in this week. I'm really enjoying doing these. It's almost sad seeing the MCU come to a close, but Santino and I have been talking about what franchises we want to do retrospectives of next. And I forget what do we have? We have our schedule written out until October, I think.
Yeah, the next one for sure will be Harry Potter.
Yep, we're doing Harry Potter. Oh, I was gonna save it, but nope, who cares? Yeah, so once we're done with the MCU, we're jumping to Harry Potter. So stick around, guys. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got a second show we're gonna be planning that's gonna start coming out midway through the week. The first episode is already recorded. It's funny. I finished editing it this morning and it's rendering right now. So that will be up midway through the week for you to enjoy. And yeah, retrospectives on Sundays, and our second show is going to be middle of the week from now on.
Yep.
So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just listening to this little bit of a wrap up right here at the end. I genuinely hope you're enjoying these. Any suggestions, criticisms, comments, always leave them below. It just helps us make the show better for those of you who enjoy listening to us.
Yeah. Same.
So, guys, I'm Chad, and I am out for the day.
And I'm Santino, and I'll see you next week.